won't forget what?
This trip, I'm not ever going to forget it.
You're never going to forget this?
No.
flight. How you feeling?
Great.
Great.
Oh yeah.
Grace, it's your first flight. How you feeling?
Scared.
Scared? Don't be scared. I like it. Who brought that? Was that yours?
No, we bought it. We bought it. We all put money in it. So we're gonna run away.
Welcome to Cambridge Springs High School, and we are going to talk teams today. I'm Dwayne Kohler, and I'm joined by Scott Wright, Becky Leandro. So what is teams?
TEAM+S is an academic group of maybe, I would say, like future engineers. The TEAM+S is an acronym for Technology, Engineering, Aptitude, Math, plus Science. So everything is stemmed on what they call the STEM.
Okay. Now what's STEM? What does that stand for?
It's an engineering and the process of engineering and the thought processes that go through the development of structures, of environment, everything that you would think of in the engineering world.
And so what we're talking about now is a competition that's part of this. So talk about that, if you would.
Well, we started the competition, we started out with actually 5 teams, and we went to a regional competition, and the regional competition was in Edinburgh. So we start out with the 5 teams, and 3 of our teams placed first. So we got first in every division, which was nice. And then
how are the divisions broken up? Is it by your grade in school or by?
Right, it was by junior high.
Okay.
And then there was a 9th and 10th grade division, and then there was 11th and 12th grade division.
Okay.
So after that, we had to wait until the state competition was all judged, and once that was judged, our scores came back, and then we were notified if we were going to be able to go to the national competition. And so we were lucky enough to have two of our teams, the junior high team and the 10th grade team, both qualified for the national competition.
Now, sitting next to us here is a nice trophy. What's that? Tell us about that.
That specifically was for an event at the national level for a video that you'll eventually see. And in that video, the kids had to create a fictitious company that would be a consultant group or a consultant firm to go in and have companies become more what they call lean or green and environmental conscious. So you'll see that video later on, but that is the 9th and 10th grade group finished 3rd overall in the nation.
So we're not just talking 3rd in Crawford County or 3rd in Pennsylvania, we're talking 3rd in the country. So that's a big deal.
Not only in the country, but now this competition that envelops in the TSA umbrella is another classification of teams, now is also international too.
Oh,
so
wow.
they have teams from Turkey there competing as well.
Wow.
And this was the first time that they added the video portion. Before it was an essay. So at the regional competition, we had to have an essay, and it went on to the state level. And actually, I believe the junior high team won first in the nation.
The sophomore
Or
team.
the sophomore team won first
in the nation.
with their
Wow.
essay.
Yeah.
Or at the state level.
Now, you're the coaches for the teams, for our local team and the teams. How do you coach? How do you do it? I mean, this doesn't seem like something that's real obvious.
Well, we had a lot of practices, and you have to start at the beginning and you have to figure out what to do first. And for the national competition, it happened to be the video that we had to get done first.
Okay.
So that took a lot of preparation, a lot of planning, and Mrs. Leandro did a lot of the taping. You can talk about that.
And the video work. I guess the practices aren't what you would consider practices with a sports team. You don't practice for the competition. What your practices are in preparation for events that will be held at the competition. Like this one was the video that we had to submit prior to going. Then came the speech, and we were given each topic. The topic for that was environmental, and then the topic for the presentation was to create a innovative transportation for the heavy traffic in cities to alleviate some of that. So that was our next step, was to prepare, designing a transportation mode for cities and getting them through heavy traffic so they're not sitting and wasting time is pretty much what it was. And again, with the carbon emissions and all that. So when you say practice, we're not practicing per se, specific layups over and over and over again. We are doing research for these events that we're going to have there.
So
Although we did practice.
Okay.
For the speech.
We did
Yeah.
practice our speeches quite a few times, but
So I'm thinking of junior high and high school sort of normal things. Not really, this is kind of out there. I mean, this is like really innovative and really having to push beyond just memorizing stuff in school and coming back and reciting that and, writing it down on a test, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. These kids are the top of the top.
Well, that's where I wanted to go with this, is how did you get the right kid? What was the selection process? How did that work?
I'm gonna let you take that one.
well, I had a lot of help from the teachers, and I would talk to the math teacher, talk to the science teachers, and we chose the students that we thought would do well under pressure. And basically they are the top students in the math, top students in the science, and then also I would go to the teacher that they had the year before. So it was quite a process, and we would narrow it down to 8 students per team, and that's how we chose the team. And sometimes, like the junior high team, you'll see one 7th grader, but it's mostly 8th graders. So we just try to pick the best from each grade.
So now as a student going through something like this, that's got to give you a leg up maybe, on getting a good thing on your resume, and, getting into a good college and all that kind of stuff, but be really put you in a position to think outside the box, am I looking at that the right way?
Absolutely. And as a parent of kids that have gone through this and one currently in there, the life after high school was a huge thing for these guys, for both of my sons. they possibly want to go into engineering. One is in engineering, and my second son, who is on the team, also wants to be an engineer. And this is a great start and, thought process. Is this something I really want to do for the rest of my life? And it's a good start.
So the creativity part of it, and the science part of it, and the math part of it, it's like kind of blending things that like sort of don't seem like they go together. But I guess maybe in the big picture, it's really better to have them together. Is that?
Absolutely. I think it all encompasses that engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, all that takes in consideration with each one of these events that they compete on in the national level, I believe.
And they have to work as a team. They have to be able to work together, and they only have a certain amount of time to get the job done, and so it's all timed, and they have to be able to work together and divide out the different things that they have to do so that they get it done.
So now after the fact, okay, now it's over and you can kind of reflect back on it. What did you pick the right kids? Did you, how does it seem looking back now?
Absolutely, I would say definitely. They had, this group of 16 kids had more success than any other group that we have taken. And Cambridge's team's history is outstanding as far as, competing at the national level and then placing at the national level. I believe every single year, Richard Gosnell started it about 5 years ago, and every year since then, we have taken at least one team to the national competition and have placed nationally.
So now let me ask you about the competition. So I'm thinking of basketball and football and whatever, so I'm competing against other schools that are my same size or whatever. Is that how this works too?
Absolutely not. There is no classification whatsoever on the number of students in the school and the number of students in the grade. So speaking with Cambridge Springs specifically, we graduate roughly 75 to 90 students per grade, and that works out to about, 400 kids in the senior high itself. Well, we are competing against schools that have 400, 500, 600 in their graduating classes. So we are competing against, magnet schools. We are competing against what they call specific engineering schools. So, yes, specifically geared toward kids that want to go in an engineering field, and we're competing against them and doing better than them. That just says, small town school with great faculty, great education, great kids, great families, do great things.
That was just going to be my next question. Big picture wise, kind of wrap it all up here. Put the thing, explain the whole thing. Big picture.
Well, I have to say that it is a big community thing because it takes a lot of money to get the kids there, and we had so many community support of donations, and I think it was over $12,000 that were raised, and it was all because people gave to us and they believed in the kids, and they and we just couldn't have done it without them. So it's a big community thing, a big family thing, that's for sure.
Well, I'm thrilled that we're able to kind of put this out there, let folks learn about it. When somebody does great and they get some national recognition, we need to get local recognition of our national national competitors out there. So I can't wait to talk to some of the students. I think that's going to be great. So we'll do that next.
Great.
ask you to introduce yourselves, if you would, please.
I'm Colby Galford.
I'm Colby Landro. We're both going to 11th grade.
So talk about the competition. Talk about your experience with that and getting ready for it. You know, so I want to hear the whole story here.
It was pretty cool. Starts at like the beginning of the school year. You have to write an essay for the regional competition, and then you also have to go to a competition at a certain site. And then,
What was the gist of the essay? What was the topic?
what was that?
Well, we had to talk about how we would improve a building in our community, and the building we chose was the Lord's Building in Cambridge Springs.
Okay.
And we like made recommendations on like how they would be more energy efficient.
So those topics that already interested you before, and did you have to really dig in and learn a lot more about that before you could write up your essay there? Or was that something that, you know, that's like you always want to talk about that anyhow?
Most of the topics they give you are like brand new, like you've never thought about it.
So you really had to dig in. You
Yeah.
really had to dig in. Let me ask you, what's hanging around your neck there? Both of you have two pair of medals there.
Yep.
What's that?
These are our competition medals from nationals. One of them's for best in the nation, and then one of them's for the video portion we have to do.
So now, you know, we don't want to just pass over best in the nation. That's a big deal, right? How do you feel about that now?
It's nice. Shows for our hard work.
What was it like? What was it like being at this competition?
Well, this was our second year actually winning Best in the Nation. We first won it in 8th grade, and I'm very proud of us. Like, I
So
think we did really
now being there multiple times now, did that give you like maybe a leg up? I mean, you kind of knew what to expect, or
Yeah, I think it really helped us.
okay? What would you suggest to somebody maybe who's just there? This is going to be their first year to this. What would you tell them? What little tips and techniques would you have to suggest?
Well, for my first year, I was really nervous, but like after a while, it calmed down and it seemed much easier. So like at first you're gonna be nervous, and after a while you'll like get used to it, and it'll be much easier.
Okay. So do you think down the road this kind of thing is helping you? Helping you maybe with further school and for even beyond that? What do you think?
Yeah, probably, because it gives you like good research skills.
And you had to write an essay. I mean, so you got the whole communication end of it, right? And there's got to be some creativity built in there, but you got to have your hands around the science and the technology and all that part of it too, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you for a little critique of your teaching program here at Cambridge Springs. I mean, my personal observation is they do a great job here. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Most of the stuff they ask you about though is like higher level, so you still have to like go on the fly.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Winning a national award, that's an awesome thing. Good job, guys.
Thanks.
At Envision, we recognize that the world is facing new challenges with the rapid growth of the population. This has a dramatic effect on the increased demand for our jobs, housing, and energy, which in turn creates challenges such as heavy pollution, higher carbon emissions, and resource scarcity. Nature, human health, and even quality of life are under pressure. However, for every problem, there is a solution, which is where we come in. As a top-notch global engineering consultancy, Envision Engineering Consulting focuses on assisting in the development of balanced and sustainable solutions for both the commercial and residential sectors. We do this by designing buildings that incorporate renewable energy on-site, as well as using energy-saving appliances, locally sourced materials, efficient recycling programs, and green landscaping practices, all while considering the effect on the local environment. At Envision, we provide services based upon expertise from around the world combined with strong local insights. We work with these people to create buildings that are able to coexist with nature, rather than fighting it. Our Envision engineering team consists of around 100 project managers from all regions and locations around the globe, each of which has passed our rigorous standards to become an accredited green building professional. Those standards include having each of the following: an engineering degree from a recognized university, 3+ years of professional experience with demonstrated advancement in sustainable building design, and also experience or involvement with green building certification and verification services. Because of our world-class services, Envision has helped over 100 commercial buildings achieve LEED certification. 11 of those buildings made platinum certification, 23 were gold, and 71 were silver. In total, we helped construct over 14 million square feet of LEED certified developments. Here at Envision, we offer a depth of expertise, experience, and the ability to work collaboratively with all clients and project team members, all while promoting a sustainable future. Make Envision part of that future for you.
Well, let me ask you guys to introduce yourselves.
I'm Aubrey Clem. I'm going into 9th grade at Cambridge Springs.
I'm Olivia Martinez, and I'm also going into 9th grade.
Well, talk about your experience here with the TEAM+S program.
It was an amazing experience. We had so much fun going to Atlanta, and even just the practices here were a great experience with everything.
Had you been to Atlanta before? Had you been anywhere down that way before? We got a bug that wants to be in on the show here. Get out of here. Okay.
I had not, no.
No, I don't think neither of us had.
What was that like? What was that like getting to a new place for the first time?
It was really fun. It was cool to be in a big city without any of like your family. Just to be able to see what it was like to be out on your own for a little bit.
And being with our friends was a huge part of making it so much fun.
Talk about the competition for a sec. What did you have to do? What kind of things? What challenges did you face there?
One of the things we had to prepare was a presentation about a new transportation for crowded cities and trying to make it less traffic congested. And then we also had to do a video about an engineering consulting firm that we had to make.
And in Atlanta, we had to do a test of, we had to build a structure, and we also had to do a like multiple choice quiz.
So now in advance, you didn't know what these things were going to be. These were kind of like new things on you at the time, and you had to there was a lot of creativity and a lot of, so you had to kind of learn on the fly there, right?
Yeah, we really had to work as a team to come up with the ideas that we did come up with.
Okay. Did you feel prepared from, maybe your schooling, from maybe other research and things you'd done ahead of time? Did you feel like you were ready to roll on that?
I think most of it was pretty easy because we had a lot of experience before that with working with problems and designing, and help from the teachers really helped too.
So I'm real curious about you mentioned about mass transit. I mean, that doesn't seem like something that, that really would be something to put in, in a junior high competition. But how'd that go? How'd that work out?
We researched a lot of stuff about it because none of us really knew anything about it before we came into TEAM+S.
Okay.
So we had to research a lot and put together all of our research to figure out what we really needed to do, what we really needed to focus on.
Okay, so what'd you learn? What'd you learn out of that? Do you know everything about that now there is to know, or is there more? Is there still more stuff out there to learn?
There's probably still some stuff to learn. I'm sure we didn't cover it all just from what we researched.
Yeah, there has to be more.
So the designing process, how did that go? How did you? That again, something that you can't just jump into necessarily. How'd that work?
We really had to think about, we had to relate from the question to past experiences in life almost, and so we had some students in our team had dads that maybe were electricians or engineers. We had to think about what they had taught us before and try to put it into what we did during the design challenge.
So it was kind of pulling things from all over the place and kind of pulling them all together and making it work.
Yeah.
So I see you got some medals hanging around your neck. What are those?
These were for getting top 10 in the video presentation and top 10 in the nation.
So now your school wasn't one of two schools there, right? There were a lot of schools there?
Yeah, I think in our division, our junior high division, there were about 30 teams that we competed against from all over the country, and even one from Turkey. So we had a lot of competition.
So now if you were describing this to another student who's thinking, I wonder if I would like to do that, how would you tell someone about this?
It's difficult and you have to put a lot of time into it, but it's really nice to see the payoff and see what comes out of all of your work.
So at the end, it's worth the hard work that you put in.
Yes,
right?
very worth it.
Okay, so give a big picture. How do you feel about the whole experience that you had?
I think it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I think I would never stop doing teams if I had a choice.
You think that'll help you down the road, maybe college and maybe other things?
I think so.
Okay. Same thing?
Yeah.
Same thing?
It really helped me understand how to work as a team. So how to include everyone in what you're doing.
How do you do that? I'm not very good at that. How do you do that? Is there any magic to that, or?
We all just kind of took what part we were more comfortable with.
Everybody's got their
what
best
we
part. There you go.
Understood most, and
Okay.
then brought it all together.
Very good. Well, congratulations. It's great to see you having
Thank
medals
you.
there and getting a part of that competition and,
Thank you.
and representing your school very well. Well, thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Manufacturing can be a major problem for every company. Businesses must be able to develop their products at a time-friendly pace while managing a high product value, all while keeping the customer's best interest at heart. These issues are prominent in the workforce today, and this is where Winthorpe enters the playing field. Winthorpe Firm works to identify, correct, and improve on the manufacturing problems that your company faces. Winthorpe strongly supports getting your company LEED certified, both the manufacturing building itself and the materials you work with. Components such as paint or even recycled plastic fibers in the floor can be easily utilized to improve your company's LEED rating. Using the LEED system, your company will save money and make your manufacturing building healthier for the environment. Winthorpe Consulting includes cradle-to-cradle certification. We look at the material health and reutilization within your manufacturing production to make sure your materials are fit for the environment. Additionally, Winthorpe looks to find the possible renewable clean energy your facilities use or create along the way. Winthorpe used LEED and Cradle to Cradle to certify hundreds of companies. We provided countless businesses with the necessary consultants to effectively bring their manufacturing areas to maximum potential. Here at Winthorpe, we specialize in time management, customer service, building efficiency, and general green practices. Manufacturing has issues in today's society. Correcting those issues within a business could provide your company for an increase in green quality and efficient productivity. Winthorpe Consulting will not stop until you get the production efficiency you deserve.
All right, next up, can I ask you guys to introduce yourselves, please?
Yeah, I'm Christian Klein.
And I'm Elizabeth Klein.
Now, does that mean you guys are related? Can I guess that?
We're brother and sisters.
Okay, and you were in the junior high division?
Yep.
And you were in the high school division,
Yeah.
right? So talk about that for a sec. How had you been in this before? And
Yeah, I was in it when I was junior high also.
Okay, so now could you coach your sister? Was that?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
helped
Yeah,
out
he
with
did
some
give me
things,
a
yeah.
few pointers on some stuff. Yeah.
Well, talk about your experience there. What was it like?
I mean, it was fun. It was interesting. I mean, I've been through it before, so I had kind of an idea what I was going into, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a very different experience. I've never really done anything like that before, so.
So now, was it a challenge? I mean, did it really
It
put
was.
some pressure on you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like you can kind of not really prepare because things you had to kind of work them out there, but you could prepare a little bit, or
Yeah, you can kind of prepare. I mean,
Yeah,
they give
we
you
did.
pointers here and there,
Okay.
tips on like what type of questions they're gonna ask. So I mean, there's a little bit of preparing, but it's a lot of like thinking on the spot.
So talk about the projects that you worked on there that were part of the competition.
Well, we did the presentation, and that was, we did the whole thing before we went, and we wrote the whole presentation, but actually being in the presentation, you did have to think on the spot because they would ask you questions about your project and everything, and you had to be able to answer them off of what you know about this. So you did have to know a lot
Okay.
about your project. So.
So now all the things you went to in science class, and had those things really prepared you, or you had to go on beyond that?
We did have to go on beyond that, yeah. I don't know, Christian, you do.
Yeah, it is a lot more beyond that. I mean, they give you a specific subject, and you really don't go that into detail on it unless you're preparing for this competition.
So what do you think? Did this help you for down the road for other things that I think you're going to face here later on in high school and maybe college and beyond that? Do you feel like this is giving you a challenge here that's pushing you along?
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of problem solving and just putting together a presentation, learning how to do a bunch of those things helps.
I can't imagine any time where problem solving isn't a skill that isn't going to be valuable to you, whatever direction you choose. What you have plans? Or is it a little too soon yet to be thinking about where you want to be?
Yeah, I'm thinking of going into engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I want to be a pediatrician.
Oh, very good. Okay, we have jobs at the hospital. I work at Meadville Medical Center, so
Oh, really?
we'll talk later. Okay, we'll talk later about that. What do you like to do when you're not doing school stuff?
I mean, we both run cross country.
Okay.
So that's a big one. And she also plays basketball. So.
Okay. I know cross-country athletes have kind of a reputation of being some of the very best student athletes that there are out there. So I'm not surprised that you guys are wearing medals around your neck from academic challenges here, and you're still doing great with your sports there too. So, make a sales pitch here for other students who don't know what this is, and let them know what this program is about and how it can help them.
Well, TEAM+S, it really focuses on a lot of the math and engineering, a lot of that stuff, and being able to look at real world problems and try to figure out a realistic solution for how to solve them. And it's definitely a lot of stuff that we never focused on before, and you have to look into a lot of stuff and be able to figure out how to use the right websites and make sure you're getting real information from places but not stealing it from them, and just a lot of stuff that you have to think about while going into this. There's a lot that goes into it. So
yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it than you might think. There's like a lot of little details that you normally would overpass.
And life's like that, right? I mean, as you're moving along through life, it's like there's no path for you to follow. You're kind of making it up as you go, and you want to do the best you can, but you want to be ready for all those challenges that you're going to face, right? Well, good for you guys. I'm proud to get a chance to get to meet you guys and hear your story. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
let me ask you guys to introduce yourselves here.
All right, my name is Derek Stellato, and I'm going into 11th grade.
And my name is Sawyer Yasinchek, and I'm also going into 11th grade.
Well, tell us about this whole experience. What was it like?
It's a great experience. We go down to Atlanta and we get to show off our skills and what we've been preparing all towards the end of the school year.
Can you specifically prepare for, or do you just have to kind of build up as much knowledge as you can and then, kind of wing it because you're not exactly sure what the question's going to be, right?
Yeah, well, we get a basic topic and then they give us questions and we got to apply what we've learned. Yeah.
And that's only on the one test section. There are other sections that we've prepared ahead of time.
So talk about some of the things that you worked on while you were there.
Well, there was a build challenge where half the team was creating this building out of just miscellaneous materials that had to collect heat and store it, while the other half was working on questions about solar panels and power. So
what did you learn about that? What do you have to do to get it to collect heat and to be environmentally conscious and all that kind of stuff? How do you what'd you learn?
Well, different building materials they supply us with do different things, and some gain they hold heat better, and they put it under a heat lamp and it goes through the house. And
so they actually tested what you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the site.
Well, and you're wearing metal, so that must have mean that you must have got tested out. It must have worked out pretty well. So what do the metals mean here?
I believe one of them was for the prepared video we made.
Okay.
And then the other one was overall. We did pretty well.
So what was it kind of like the challenge of it? I mean, when you're studying ahead of time or whatever, okay, you're studying ahead of time and, might get distracted or whatever, but now you're under some pressure, right? I mean, so what was that like?
It's definitely hard. The pressure is very immense. Being in front of judges and having to present and then being asked questions afterwards and being prepared for everything is really hard.
It's funny, that comes up a lot in life. It's like, okay, you make decisions, and it's like, well, why'd you do that? I've had advice given to me in the past, okay, now, if you have to explain the decision you made to your grandmother, are you going to be comfortable with that? So, did you have to factor things in as you were going along? It's like, now how am I going to explain, this part and that part?
A bit, and what made it easier was relying on what we had practiced over and over, and that helped us cover all the areas.
So was there kind of a sales pitch that you had to go to the judges and convince them about
Yes.
that this was a good thing that we did here and here's why we did it and all that? Does that come naturally, or did you have to kind of work your way through that too?
I guess we had to work our way through that. But that was the key. That was the instrumental point of that.
I wonder about that sometimes. It's maybe some great engineering project, but it never really got a good sales pitch attached to it, and did it not catch on because that part got missed. So it's good you got the whole picture of that. So, well, give a big picture of the whole experience. Is it something that you would like to see your friends, or a sibling, or would you like to see other kids getting to do something like that?
Yeah, it's a great experience for everyone. It really gets your name out there, and it's a good way to spread yourself. Yeah.
I think maybe having that on your resume for down the road when you're applying to college and you're applying for a job, whatever, certainly going to put that on there, right? And tell folks about a national competition and winning awards and all that. So, well, congratulations, guys. That's a great thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for being with us here.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
thought it was her flip out. I didn't even hear it.
As they're coming up.
Broccoli. Thank you.
Right here.
Thank you.
Straight line down.
You can't see anything. Thank you! You can just see her flipping up.
Can you zoom in?
I don't know how. This thing's too old. I don't know how. I don't believe it! Oh no! What's your input, Brock? What about you, Jackson?
No, I got nothing.
Aiden, do you have anything to say?
No.
Olivia.
Fourth. Oh my god.
Olivia. Olivia.
Good job, guys.
Olivia, do you have anything to say?
I say good job to them.
Okay.
Don't worry, we were fourth.
We got fourth again, third time in a row. Thank you.
I love the colorful.
Your body.
I know, that's bad. I went up and I was just like, oh my god.
I think you can stop recording.
Nope. I don't know how anyways.
I got this. I want to hold it. I want to hold it. I hold it.
No, just keep going, keep going. It's okay. I think it's fine. Aiden, do you think we got fourth again?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought too. Rock, do you think we got fourth?
The Harper School, Team 2.
That's what I think. Fourth place again. I'm a piece of
Man, we're losers.
No, we got fourth again. Yeah! Yeah!
Greatest. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.
You guys should be so proud of what you've done and all the work that we did from, I don't know what, February, before that even, and everything that you guys did, and to get here, and it wasn't easy, everything that we did, I mean, that was just amazing. So you should be proud. I know your parents are proud because I've been texting them, but you guys should be so proud of what you've done, and I am proud of you.
Wait, did you tell them?
Some of them know.
Okay. Did you tell my mom? Did you tell Brock's parents? You told my mom? I think it's fine. No.
The whole world knows. But you guys did a great job. So you should be happy. I'm happy. Mrs. Landry, if you haven't noticed, is very happy. So
I think we know.
right. So good job. Greatest. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.
By the way, the videos you've been seeing, both were in two parts. One, actually, some of the competition, the students worked on the videos, and also some others were for the students for their experience. So let's introduce our last group of students that we're talking about here. Let me ask you guys to introduce yourselves here.
I'm Hunter Spade.
Okay.
I'm Brock Cunningham.
Now you guys are going into 9th grade now?
I'm going into 9th grade.
I'm going into 8th.
Oh, very good. Well, what was it like? What was this thing like?
It was fun. It was interesting for it being our first year. It was different than a lot of other things that we've been to.
So this wasn't like regular school?
No. Like, it was a lot of, well, like, the groups that we were in, it was like most of our friends, so we got along well, but there's like a lot of harder competition than regular school.
Okay. What do you think? What did you think about it being a first year man there?
Well, I like competing against the rest of the country, and it was really interesting to see what everyone would come up with and all the design challenges and stuff like that.
So what did you have kind of in the back of your head going into it? I mean, you'd been around and seen some things to start before you left for the competition, right?
I just tried to keep all the research in the back of my head so I could bring it forward anytime.
How'd you do that? Boy, you have a nice, young, healthy brain, I guess. Okay, that's a big. Oh, there you go.
Let's go with that.
So what were the specifics of the challenge? What were the kind of things that you had to really dig into and you had to work on?
So we had a design challenge where we had to construct a building that would allow heat to go into it, but it wouldn't let it escape. And we had to do a presentation of a poster where we had to solve traffic congestion. And I think those went pretty well. We placed pretty well at the end.
So what the traffic congestion? That's really interesting. That's one of those things that just drives everybody nuts when they're having to work around or trying to get to anywhere. So what's the answer? You know, what did you figure out with that?
So we came up with it's called a tunnel bus, and it would straddle over the other cars, and it was faster because it could go about 40 miles an hour in the city, but it was still very eco-friendly because it wouldn't use any fossil fuels.
Yeah. How does it run without fossil fuel?
Yeah, we had a spintronic generator in it, and we had a lot of solar panels on top.
Okay. So that's going to be a real thing here somewhere down the road, like solar collection and having that generate energy, huh? Mm-hmm. How about that? So what do you think? How do you think this helped prepare you for more time in school here down the road, and maybe beyond school time?
I think it really prepares us because there's so many other smart people that it kind of just got us into a better mindset of academics and school in general.
Sometimes I think, let me ask you this one. I think of maybe middle school as being kind of memorizing stuff, and then when the test day comes, you're just reciting what you memorized, whatever. And this is way past that. Is it?
Yeah. We had to do a presentation, and that really helped me because later in life I will have to talk in front of people. And this was just preparing me for that.
So did it put some pressure on you? Did it put some, kind of a little arm twist there, a little challenge to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
What did you think about that?
I wasn't one of the people that had to talk, but from what I've seen when they were practicing, it looked like it would have been a tough job because they had lots of stuff that they had to recite for the presentation.
And then you had to kind of face some questions that you maybe didn't necessarily know what the question was going to be. Was that part of it?
Yeah, that was at the end after they presented, and the people that made the poster would go and answer most of the questions.
So, big picture, what was it like? Was it a very worthwhile experience for you? I'm guessing. I think I can guess what you're going to say.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm excited to do it in 2 years when we're in 10th grade.
What was the trip like?
It was interesting. It was a lot of fun with our other classmates, like the plane rides and staying in the hotel and everything.
Okay. Well, guys, congratulations. I see you're wearing medals. That must have mean it turned out well, I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
it did.
Okay. Congratulations on your success with that, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you.